go to Nsuta, go to Takwa, then go to Obuasi. There are many people that went to South Africa for the World Cup. A number of them came back and to say, hey, South Africa is like America. South Africa is like Europe, but it's in Africa. But if you go to Johannesburg, that is like a European city or an American city. Johannesburg was built based on gold. It's a city of gold. Gold was mined from there. And it is the gold that has built the city. Compare Johannesburg to Obuasi. And many more millions of gold have been taken from Obuasi than had been dug from Johannesburg. But what is the difference? The owners of the gold mines were from South Africa. They stayed in South Africa. The money stayed in South Africa. But the ones from Obuasi, where did they go? They went to Europe. And recently, our government sold a significant chunk of the small percentage of Anglo Gold Ashanti shares that the Ghana government still owned to foreign interests. And it wasn't even sold in Ghana. It was sold outside of Ghana, not on the Ghana Stock Exchange. What I'm saying to you is that when you don't own your own national resources, when you don't invest in them, when the jobs go somewhere else, when the profits go somewhere else, the money doesn't stay, and you don't get development. But Obuasi, by all rights, should be as wonderful a city as Johannesburg is today. So the issues are there for us to learn from. Local ownership, a better legal framework to protect the Ghanaian, a determination to use revenues to transform the lives of the people, and a single-minded purpose to put the Ghanaian in the front, center, and everywhere, so that the micro pocket, the individual pocket, can benefit directly. When that individual pocket does not benefit, forget all the stories you are hearing. So not much is going to happen. And it is not for a bad reason that I said during the 2008 campaign that if the oil and gas that is coming is not coming to benefit the Ghanaian, then must remain on the ground. And I still stand by that statement because I know what I am talking about. If you don't own it, if you don't have significant interests, if the money doesn't stay, if we don't use it to develop other industries in this country, that money, it will come, but it will go. Very little will stay. In government's pocket, government will use it for all manner of things. You, Kwesi, you, Kojo, you, Abba, or Abna, you will not see much of it. So there are lessons that we need to learn from all of that. But you know, that's gold, that's diamond, bauxite. They are important. But there is no natural resource in this world that is so critical, but that is also so dangerous, and that is so bothersome, like oil. None. Just look at all the wars that have been fought in this world. Iraq, Kuwait, the Iraqi invasion by foreign sources. Just look at what has happened in the Congo. The wars fought in the Congo, they weren't fought over anything else. It's fought over natural resources. They also have oil there. What happened in Angola? The fight was over oil. What about Nigeria, the Biafra War? It wasn't fought over some little things here and there. It was fought over access to the oil revenue. What is happening in the Niger Delta today? It is also because of oil. Equatorial Guinea has had many, many coup attempts. Why? Everybody wants to get their hands on the oil and the revenue that comes from it. And so while we have started counting our blessings dollar by dollar, let us learn and be wary of the potential pitfalls. And so it is important that in this country, we think about using whatever revenues we get from oil and gas to industrialize. Let me give you an example, because I don't like to talk about things that you just say off the top of your head. Let's illustrate with some examples. I've been to South Korea. South Korea doesn't have any crude oil, doesn't have any gas. But you go to South Korea, they have an oil refinery there. It was built the same year as the Tema oil refinery. The same year. Both were built by the states. The same year. But you go there today, their refinery is more than 10 times the size of the Tema oil refinery. They now have a joint venture between the state and the private sector. And there are petrochemicals industry that has developed in South Korea. And there are jobs, the kind of jobs you would want. The kind of jobs you would want. Paying good money in South Korea. Why is that? Because they planned, they thought ahead and said, even if we don't have the crude oil, we will bring it in, we will develop it, and for the from the other excess materials that come, we will develop a petrochemicals industry. That is what we need to do. Now that we even have the oil, build a second oil refinery in the Western region, develop a petrochemicals industry in the Western region, so that real jobs can come. And I've already introduced you to the book, The Prize, by Daniel Yergin. I want you to read it and understand more the history and the influence of oil in modern society. But from that book, I want to give you two quotations. And one says, today, oil is the only commodity whose doings and controversies are to be found regularly, not only on the business page, but also on the front page. And as in the past, it is a massive generator of wealth for individuals, companies, and entire nations. In the words of one tycoon, oil is almost like money. That's the end of one quotation. And the second one is that oil as a commodity intimately is intertwined with national strategies and global politics and power. So if we think that the Americans were interested in Ghana in recent years only because we're nice people, think again. It's because they knew and had an interest not only in the oil that we all thought was coming in Ghana, but also because the West African coastline and West and Central is now dotted with oil producing nations. Equatorial Guinea, Nigeria, Ghana, now is going with Cote d'Ivoire and others. Now the man in Gambia also says he knows there's oil there. So their interest is not just because they like us. We have a resource that they like. And why is it? Why is it that the Chinese are so much interested in Ghana that they will call our president to go to China and tell him whatever it is that you want, pick it. 1 billion, 2 billion, 3 billion, 10 billion, you can have it. Is it because we're nice people? No. It's only one thing. It's the oil. It's the oil. Just as many of you don't know that the Buidan, we did an exchange. There's the Buidan money for cocoa. Okay? So if you think the Buidam was free, it is not free.